Molly, well, McLaren, it's a famous name in motorsport, but it's still a relative newcomer when it comes to supercars. This, the 650S Spider, what do you think?
It's certainly got all the right credentials to be a fantastic supercar. Carbon fibre chassis, twin turbo V8, rear wheel drive. I think the proof's in the pudding, so we should take it for a spin.
Well, let's take it for a spin. Well, here we are on the road in the 650S. I gotta say, first impressions are pretty good. It's a really well presented car inside, don't you think?
Yeah, the finish quality is really impressive from the outside and the inside, and you know it's very unique. It's definitely a McLaren. I don't think there's anything else quite like it.
Yeah, I think that's a big key for these supercars, is to have a certain feel. You know, a Ferrari looks and feels a certain way. A Porsche has its own unique character. A Lamborghini is different. And yeah, I think McLaren's managed to nail that. You know, it speaks of McLaren, the company. You know, as a racing company, they're known as being very meticulous. They have high attention to detail, and they're a technology company as well. So you get a real sense of that in the cabin, like the controls, like this iPhone style infotainment system with the tiles, and all the controls I think are pretty intuitive to use, don't you think?
Yeah, certainly. And I think one of the things when you hop in the car, and you know, it has all the modern comforts and the luxuries that you would expect from a car of this nature, but it feels like you're driving a race car too. You hop in and you're sitting low, and the dynamics of the car, as well as the actual seating position, I think, to me it feels like you're hopping in a luxurious race car.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that it does manage to have that, what do they call it, there's duality of, I've noticed driving it around town. It's actually a pretty comfortable car, I think. You could be driving a regular sort of more mainstream luxury car a lot of the time. The ride quality is pretty good, and it's a pretty easy, user-friendly bit of gear. Yeah,
from the driver's seat you feel incredibly connected to the car and connected to the road. The steering is very precise, and then you've got with the carbon chassis, it's a very firm ride, but as you say, it's quite comfortable. It feels very confidence-inspiring.
Well, you make it sound good. I want to begin.
I'm not sure I'm quite ready to give you the driver's seat yet, so I'm not quite enjoying this.
Now that's one thing that's pretty interesting about this car, and I'm not quite convinced whether I love it or hate it yet, are these doors. I love the fact they open up. They give it a real sense of drama and occasion, like you expect in a supercar. But I don't know how you park this car at the shops. But it does help you get in, because this carbon fibre tub is just so big. It's a bit of a challenge to try. A lot of these low-slung sports cars now are pretty tricky to get into with these big wide sills from the carbon fibre mono cell, as McLaren likes to call it.
Yeah, it's certainly not particularly easy to get in and out of, but once you're in, and I think once you're sitting inside the cockpit, you feel very very connected to the car and connected to the road, and you feel like you're one.
Yes.
And in terms of the performance of it, it's also built to be fast. I was impressed by that. What do you think?
These modern supercars now, it's joined this trend of quote-unquote downsizing, because there's still a V8 engine but with 2 turbochargers, so it's got immense torque. Like, it's as soon as you press the accelerator, it goes. It's got that amazing ability to just launch you down the road, which is what you want in a car like this. But what actually impresses me is the sound of it. Again, turbocharged engines, you think they can sound a bit flat, but that V8 note is still in there at the heart of it, which I think makes it sound pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think the sound of the V8 is an important element to that. I guess it's the compromiser is something special about the roar of a V10, but having that torque, as you say, from the twin turbo and the sound of the V8 too, it's still something you hop in and it is a little bit breathtaking, and I think that element's really important to keep in a car like this.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this thing stacks up against its rivals. At the moment McLaren doesn't sell anywhere near the numbers that the established guys like Ferrari and Lamborghini do, but I think it has the base elements to be a successful supercar manufacturer. But I've driven the Lamborghini Huracan, you've driven the Ferrari 458. You know, do you think this thing stacks up against those cars?
Yeah, I think it's, you know, as we touched on earlier, it's really unique, and it's very different to them, and I think that's something that is a big selling point for this car. You know, if you're in the market for a supercar, you want something special, and you know, not taking anything away from the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis, this is certainly something special, and it's a bit less common, and you know, it's just a bit different, and I think that is almost a selling point for the car.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't mind one in my driveway.
I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no, that's for sure.